Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's Hanifa Menen, and I am doing this video as part three of a series of videos I'm doing for you or making for you, all about emotional health and connection with our spirituality and our soul. And today's video is all about how emotions shape us. And emotions do shape us, don't they? And some people are mindfully aware of this, and most people are not mindfully aware of this. But we will start noticing certain emotions that people carry, right? That this person is always carrying joy and this person's always carrying sadness, right? So we notice these things. We certainly notice it in others, and sometimes we notice it in ourselves if, again, we're paying mindful attention. And many times we're aware only when someone brings it to our attention. And sometimes it's because we can't get work done. So when we think about the scale of emotions, we know that there are some really positive emotions and there are some not so positive emotions. And I use not so positive rather than negative because language, I feel it's very important in terms of how it shapes our minds. So I wanted to talk to you today about how emotions shape us and to get you to just reflect on what kind of emotions you might be carrying because emotions shape ourselves and then shape the world around us. So if we can notice that that person looks like they're angry, or we notice that person looks like they're really joyful, we notice it and others notice it too. And again, the same energies that a person is carrying is actually filtering from them to the world. And do we understand that all of these emotions are affecting us? And certainly, many people know that emotions can eventually result in some health concern. And I'm all about keeping ourselves healthy and mindfully so. So, today I thought I'd talk about some of the less than positive first. And these emotions or styles, you will notice quite a few people talk about these regularly. So, people will say, I'm stressed, or I'm anxious, or I'm aggressive. A lot of people don't say they're aggressive. They might say I'm angry, but someone else will say that person's aggressive, right? And because often the emotion then leads to an action or a behavior in a person. And those are not such comfortable places for the individual to be. And anyone who loves someone who has some of those emotional traits will notice that over time, when those traits are held on to, those less than positive, they'll often move into places like apathy, resignation and frustration. So, if we think about this, what's happening in our society, these are the emotions that are quite predominant, right? So, whether we watch it through news or whether we hear it in friends and family circles, there's this aggression, this frustration, this eventual apathy. There's nothing we can do about this, right? So, all of these sorts of things, it's the things that we talk about, it's the things that we are feeling, and we can feel it from the energy around us too. And the other side is also true is the really positive emotions. So things like excitement and enthusiasm and joyfulness, those are like really high energies, right? And if they get a little bit lower, they might result in contentment and satisfaction and calm and easygoing energies. And boy, that's a great place to fall to, isn't it? So if you recognize that you are in, or someone near you is in, the lower energy, um, less than positive energies of emotions, you'll notice this sadness, this frustration, this aggression, this apathy, this stress. I'm going to say that I've written down stress here because it's just a word that people use so often in our society. I'm stressed. And often that doesn't mean something too positive, right? So either someone's feeling very busy or rushed or angry or irritable or overloaded in work, right? So all of these bring out emotions that are not so high energy. And it depletes the person's energy and it depletes the energy of people around them too. So if you are regularly surrounded by people who in those energies, you'll notice that most of us are affected by the energies of the people that are closest to us, around us, close physically, sometimes emotionally, in terms of maybe we just speak to someone or we've spoken to someone that's very close to our hearts and we're recognizing that, oh, that keeps on playing in my head about how they're feeling. And it does affect our emotions then too. So today I want to make sure that you know that there are ways to pull ourselves into higher energy emotions. And when you think about it, you think, wow, well, if I'm generally not happy, how am I ever going to be in this enthusiastic space? And we go step by step, right? So we can go from not happy to calm to peaceful to pleasant. And then eventually, when we're in that space for long enough, we'll find it much easier to move into enthusiastic and energized and lifted and joyful. All of those things, which again, it comes in a step by step process, but it does benefit from mindful attention. Now, a lot of people also know that they might need to do a little bit of work on their emotional health, and many people will just put it off. And again, I'll say that this leans towards that apathy, that it's okay. I've lived it with it for this many years. Or if they think about something that's very emotional and it happened 10 years ago, they'll say, I should be over that. And this is very, very common. And what happens is we still carry it. And sometimes we have misled even ourselves in believing that I'm over that emotion, when really we need some tools to be able to work with our emotions. And one of the simple tools I'd love to give to you today is smiling. And smiling seems so simple, right? But do you notice how infrequently adults smile? And I love smiling at people. I love laughing easily too. But I used to teach laughter yoga to clients and have definitely noticed the benefit to people's health with that experience. But smiling alone, did you know that the act of smiling alone allows our brains to feel that we are happy? And can you imagine that? That just the facial expression of smiling gets us into that space. And people will say that, well, I don't really have anything to smile about. And do we need a reason to smile? Because babies smile all the time, don't they? Babies laugh all the time too. As adults, we've trained ourselves out of this simple, simple action because we think there should be a reason for it. And in fact, if we're sitting smiling, someone might say, why are you smiling? And you'll say, I don't know, I just want to feel better. And what's wrong with that? Today, I would love for you to think about that something as simple as smiling will move us from a lower energy of less than positive emotions into something higher. And I would love that for all of us. Today, if you can practice this, and you will notice also that if you start this process, even with the people that are closest with you, you'll notice that even when someone's not in such a great mood and you can smile, and you will notice that you don't have to tell a person anyone. Smile and mean it though, right? It's that you really want to smile, not because you're trying to get the other person to smile, but smile and recognize that that actually lifts the energy in the room, and it will lift your own energy, will likely affect the rest of whether your office mates or your family or your own self. First and foremost, it will help yourself. Today, I'd love you to share that idea with yourself to see how do you feel if you smile for, let's say, a good minute. Are you able to smile for that long? And if you are not, know that there's a little bit of work to do, and it's step-by-step process to get yourself to that joyful space, which is really the space of our soul. It's also the energy of peace. Peace is a very satisfying, high energy. And it's something that our soul carries. And we just have to remember that we need to remind it from the mind perspective to then feel the emotion and come back to the space that's very natural for all of us. So I hope that this is a useful video for you. And I hope you remember that we are carrying our emotions consciously or not consciously. And it takes a little bit of work, and it's a lot of benefit to ourselves and to the world around us if we can be mindfully attentive to our emotions. Today, I hope that you do to practice that, and I hope that I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day ahead, and I'll see you soon.